Hey everybody, I'm Scott Weichel. You're listening to My Kind of Country, our Sunday gospel show right here on mkocradio.com. This gentleman is one of my very favorite singers of all time, and he's got a fabulous gospel CD that he has released with some of the great classics and some new material, and it's done that in only a way that he could do it. And it's my honor to welcome him back to the show today. One of my favorites, Gene Watson. Gene, how are you today?
I'm fine, Scott. You doing all right?
Hey, I'm doing just great. Nice to have you back on the show again. Appreciate you taking time.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, first of all, I want to talk about the wonderful musicians and background singers on this project. It absolutely is a stellar, pristine sounding CD, and I'd like to have you tell me a little bit about these great folks that worked with you.
Well, it's to say the least, some of my favorites. You know, they have some of them have backed me up on a lot of my other music and everything. But you know, with the addition to Carl Jackson but some of these people, it's just great to have them on the CD. You know, I thought that each group that we used fit the material perfectly. You know, the Isaacs. I mean, what can you say? It goes without saying. You know, some of the greatest in the business, and of course John Wesley Riles, and yeah, just some of the best that ever recorded. And I'm just thankful that I could get them on the CD with me.
Oh, absolutely. John Wesley Riles is fabulous. I know him. He's married to Joni Twitty, and he worked on the Conway Twitty Timeless project, and he added all the harmonies on there. And I'll tell you what, that man is just one of the best harmony singers in the business, and a great singer, too.
Oh, fantastic. I've worked with him, when he was a solo artist, and boy, he's been recording harmonies with, the thing about John is I've been told so many times that everybody thinks it's me doing my own harmony. I mean, John can sound so much like me, it's scary. So
Yeah,
it's always good to work with him, and I use him on just about everything I do.
Well, that's great. Yeah, he's got a great knack for that. And Aubrey Haney was playing fiddle with you on this, and I just met him recently and worked on him on a recording project I was doing, helping out Freddie Hart. And I'll tell you what, that man, I think he channels Johnny Gimble in his music. That's the best I can say.
Well, I worked with both of them. I worked with Johnny before, and Aubrey is just a monster. I mean, all you got to do is kind of get across to him what you'd like for him to do, and I mean, he's a smoker. I love working with Aubrey.
Yeah, he's really quiet, but man, as soon as he starts, going to work,
Yeah.
it's just there. It's amazing. Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, Gene, tell me a little bit about the inspiration behind doing this album.
Well, my fans, basically. I had a gospel CD out several years back, and it went over really well, and my fans have just been asking for the last few years, when am I going to get in and do another one, and over and over and over. And so I decided to do this project in a little different manner. I went back and pulled out some old songs that we used to do when I was just a boy going to church, and songs my mom and dad used to sing, and me and my brothers and sisters, and I just dedicated this project to my mom and dad, along with the old songs that I researched and brought back to life. Well, we reached back and got some songs that I thought were pretty much standard, and that we were able to use some of the almost quartet vocal sounds and Southern gospel stuff like that. So we kind of spread it around a little bit. Along the way, I've come across some songs that I was really proud of. One in particular that a boy that we work with a lot, Dave Lindsay, brought to me a few years back and played it for me, and that just knocked me out. And I said, man, I sure wish you'd hold that song for me. And they did, and when we got in the studio, we recorded it. It's the new single called Old Roman Soldier.
Oh, it's great. I love the video for it, too. Absolutely beautiful. It's a
Well, thank you.
outstanding song. Of course, I want to tell people right away, too, the album is called My Gospel Roots, and it's on 14 Karat Music. You can get it at GeneWatsonMusic.com, and also Gene-Watson.com is the fan site website. And, of course, it's available at Amazon and iTunes and Ernest Tubb Record Store and all the great places where you can buy music. And, of course, if you go see Gene in concert, he'll have them there for you, too, as well. Highly recommend this. And, of course, you've heard a lot of the songs songs already on our show. And Gene, one of the songs that I really like, it's an old Sonny James one, "Till the Last Leaf Shall Fall."
That's a song my brother and I used to sing together, and of course, I lost my mother to cancer and everything, and even when she was in bed and couldn't get around, she used to get me and my brother to come and sing for her and sing that song. That's one of her very, very favorite songs that we did.
You know, I can't think of anyone else that could top a Vern Gosdin song, but you've done it on this album. And Vern, some years ago, did a gospel album, and he included the song "Praying" on this one, and I think you just knocked it out of the park.
Well, thank you. My brother and I also used to do that one right there. We got that off of the old Lubin Brothers album.
Oh, yeah.
I believe the title of their album was "Satan Is Real," and my brother and I used to do that song a lot. Just about everybody that heard us do it, well, they wanted us to do it for them, and I thought it'd be real neat to bring it back. I just like you, I love that song.
Absolutely. And you brought back a song that you had on your Real Country Music CD, and I believe Larry Gatlin wrote this. It's called "Help Me."
Yeah, that song is so great, and incidentally, it went #1. That was our single that was out just before "Old Roman Soldier," and I'm happy to say it went #1 in some of the Christian country charts and everything, and then lo and behold, we released another gospel song right behind it, "Old Roman Soldier," and boy, it's just doing great, and I'm so thrilled with it. But yeah, Larry, I've always loved that song, and then after I got to thinking about it, I really hadn't pre-planned it, but after I got to thinking about it, I thought, well, I'd sure love to record that song. So we did, and I sure am glad we did.
Yeah, absolutely. Larry Gatlin's a fantastic songwriter. Of course, you've done some of his other stuff, and "Bitter They Are, Harder They Fall" is one of my all-time favorite songs that you did, and he's such a great writer, and you do his songs so very well.
Well, yeah, you're right. He is a fantastic writer, and he's got the kind of songs that you can get down in and really feel them and sell them. So I really appreciate him as not only an entertainer, but for a songwriter, he's one of the best.
Absolutely. You got some great standards on here too, "In the Garden" and "Where No One Stands Alone," just absolutely stellar versions. And "Clinging to a Saving Hand," I remember Conway Twitty doing that. I think that was the title of an album for him back in the 70s.
Yeah, I've always loved that song, and I've heard it by several people, and loved it by all of them. John Conley had a great version of that right there. Miss Connie Smith had a version of it, and I wanted to do it. As far as "In the Garden," that's a song I've always wanted to record, but I just kind of wanted to do it a little bit different, and because I guess so many others have recorded it, but the way Dirk worked up that arrangement on it and everything just knocked me out. That's one of my favorites on the album.
It is a fantastic. One of my favorites is "Call Me Gone."
Yeah, that goes back a ways. We had to kind of change that arrangement around a little bit where it would fit me, because there was quite a bit of talking in it, narration and everything, and I didn't feel like I could do that proper, so I just left it up to the singing.
Well, it worked out good. It worked out good, no doubt about it. Gene, you were talking, about winning gospel awards and number ones on the charts. There seems to be a trend here lately where a lot of the classic country artists are doing gospel music. There seems to be a real demand for it.
Well, there is, and I didn't realize how much, until I recorded the first gospel CD. But we get so many requests in our shows, to do songs off of the CD that I really wasn't blind when I went into this last one. I knew that my fans were waiting on it, and now we do at least one or two gospel songs every show, that we do just about. And I'm just thankful because the people are requesting the songs, and they really want to hear the gospel stuff.
Well, it's throughout the history of country music, most artists have done at least one gospel project, and in many cases a lot more than that. And it kind of goes hand in hand with the message of country music. It's real life. It's about the people, and it's about things, inspiration that we get. And I think all that stuff kind of goes together, don't you?
Yeah, well, like the album said, it's my gospel roots. That's how I was raised. My first memory of ever singing was in church, and my whole family, my mom, dad, and all my brothers and sisters, all were singers, and I was just one of the group that decided to, do it as a career, and so gospel music is real easy for me to fall back on. I love it. I think that most of the country gospel songs tell a vivid story, that you can live with, and of course that's the kind of artist I am. I love to record about, a scene that you can see without seeing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In other words, I like to tell the story that you can see in your mind. You don't have to see a video. You know what it's saying.
Absolutely. Well, you've always been a great storyteller in all of your music, and I've always, I'm not blowing smoke. You're absolutely one of my favorite singers of all time, and
Thanks, man.
That's one of the things I love about you is that you take a story, take a song, and you can. I like because I can close my eyes when you're doing a song, and I can actually picture it in my mind, and that's something that you just every time you hear your songs, you're going to go on an experience.
Well, you just made my day, because that's what I strive so hard for. I mean, I've always said you don't have to see somebody to know whether they feel what they're doing or not. You can tell it by listening to the radio, and that's what I strive for. I really appreciate that compliment.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Another song on here, Dottie Rambo had this out, 10, 12 years ago before she passed away, Build My Mansion.
Yeah. Dottie was such a fantastic writer, and she wrote so many songs that people wouldn't have imagined that she wrote, and I was not that familiar with this song, but I mean, I'm not saying I hadn't heard it, but I really wasn't familiar with it until I got to listen, and we were putting this CD together, and then, boy, we were talking about it, and I thought, we just really need to put that on there. Believe it or not, that's one of the favorites by just all the people over at the office and everything. They really like that song.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's a fabulous song, absolutely. So the question beckons, I'm sure you went through a whole lot of material to choose the songs for this album. Are there some other songs that you didn't record that maybe you're going to do for a future project?
Well, I always try to keep something, in stock. But I could pull out the old stuff, for forever, because, like I say, my first memory of singing was in church, and there's certainly a lot of them that I didn't get to. It's sort of like the Heroes album. There's so many others that I could have put on there. So I like to keep something for the future and something for the people to be looking forward to.
Absolutely. So what's next on your agenda as far as recording?
Well, I plan to go in and do another original session, and we've got some ideas from the fans that have talked to us about this, that, and the other, and so we're going to try to put a brand new CD together. In fact, we're working on getting material together for it now.
Oh, great. Well, I certainly hope that you'll come back on the show, and I'd love to do a feature on that as well whenever it's done, and always look forward to your new music. We've been blessed to have you on a couple other times. We we did a feature on the Real Country Music album. We did the Country Classics one that you did, and it's all stellar music, and we're always glad to get it out there to our listeners.
Well, I appreciate you so much, man. And again, thanks time for talking to me, and thank you for all the help on the music. And anytime we'd love to call and talk to you. Hope it's all right with you.
Oh, I'd love it anytime. It's an honor to have you, Gene. I'm going to let you pick out the next song that we're going to play from your album.
Well, we might as well do this brand new single, Old Roman Soldier.
All right, let's play Old Roman Soldier. This is Gene Watson, his brand new gospel album called My Gospel Roots. You can get it at GeneWatsonMusic.com, Gene-Watson.com, the fan site, and, of course, Amazon, iTunes, Ernest Tubb record stores, wherever music is sold. Gene Watson, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you.